That, but Paul has all the details for it.
Along the Cumberland Plateau, a couple inches, certainly possible, some of that higher terrain in eastern Middle Tennessee, but basically we're getting the cold air with very little moisture. The moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and some from the Atlantic Ocean off the Gulf Stream is going to move up into the northeastern U.S., and that's why they're going to see big issues in that part of the country. Around here, kind of nuisance snowfall for the most part. Let's take a look at what's happening out there right now. The big picture radar perspective shows some rain showers moving off to our east. We're seeing a little bit of a mix there in the higher terrain of East Tennessee, but it was all rain as it came through. Now starting to see a couple of sprinkles and flurries mixed together just to our north in southern Kentucky. This is just outside of our counties on the Kentucky side of the border, but rain showers changing over to a rain-snow mix and eventually changing over to snow showers back in Missouri. That's the trend that we are going to see as we head through the day. But the system coming in from the northwest just doesn't have any moisture to work with. We haven't seen that flow off the Gulf of Mexico to produce any substantial amount of moisture around here, which is why we're not talking about a whole lot of accumulation. A few rain showers still scooting through southeastern Middle Tennessee this morning, and yes, it's still warm enough that these are all rain showers. Let's look outside, and even there, a lot of it's evaporated before it hits the ground. Eastern Middle Tennessee, you're dry right now in Smith County, looking dry around Metro Nashville as well from the Adventure Science Center camera, looking towards downtown there. A little break in the cloud cover is going to move through this morning, so some sunshine initially, but we're still almost an hour away from sunrise, so it's still dark out there from the various camera perspectives. Let's check on temperatures. 40 degrees right now in Nashville, also 40 in Clarksville and Cookeville, with that clearing trend in place across the mid-state from west to east for a little while this morning. Temperatures take a bit of a dip, and then they're going to recover to the low 40s as we head towards noon. So 35 in Hopkinsville, you're not going to stay that cold throughout the day. You'll warm back up to around 40 degrees as well, which is why we're going to see that transition slowly from rain showers to a rain-snow mix and eventually to snow showers. Yes, it is possible to see some snowflakes even when temperatures are 10 degrees above freezing like they will be around midday, but they're not going to be able to stick to the ground. So don't be surprised if you see them in the air, but they're not going to be adding up to cause any problems. They're not going to be snowflakes in between your tires and the roads as we head towards the evening commute. Futurecast as we head through the day. We'll stop the forecast here at noon and see those rain showers beginning to take hold and transition to a rain-snow mix and eventually to snow showers. But again, snow showers in the air by the evening commute, but not on the ground. By the time the snow really changes over and begins to have a chance to stick around Metro Nashville with temperatures around freezing, well, most of the moisture is going to be in eastern Middle Tennessee. This is where you're going to add it up over the next roughly 48 hours or so, because we are talking about a continuing flow of cold air, and these little streaks of snow are going to move through. So it's possible for the majority of the mid-state that you can pick up a half an inch of accumulation, which isn't a whole lot, but it's enough to potentially cause a few slippery spots here and there. But the bulk of the accumulating snow is going to stay along the eastern Highland Rim and along the Cumberland Plateau. That continues all the way through tomorrow night and into the very early hours of Wednesday morning before we get a bit of a break and our temperatures recover into the low 40s by that point, which is where we are right now. So some of the warmest temperatures we're going to feel for the next few days are happening at the moment. Total snowfall, you see the pattern here, the heavier amounts in eastern Middle Tennessee, where you could pick up to 3 inches of accumulation, especially around Monterey, Putnam County, some of the higher terrain spots in Fentress and Cumberland counties as well. But for most of us, we're talking about either flurries, a dusting to maybe a half an inch, mostly on lawns and rooftops, because by the time the temperatures are cold enough to prompt that transition from rain to snow, most of the moisture is going to be in eastern Middle Tennessee. So winter weather advisory continues for these eastern counties all the way until 6 o'clock on Wednesday morning. That's when things are going to be winding completely down, but it's still going to be cold. 30 degrees for a high temperature on Wednesday, back up to 40 on Thursday, low 40s Friday with another chance of a rain-snow mix, and that ushers in some really cold air for the weekend. Highs only in the upper 20s Saturday and Sunday. Want to say